So here, right, it's not about race. It's never about race, right? And when some token or corny black man gets up and says, America is not racist, America has never been a racist country or a racist nation, the crowd erupts in cheer. Right? Okay. Bravo. 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 Token fucking black guy. So, in this country where it's not about race, right? You know, because for a while we were focused on other things. The Epstein files, um, his client list, sex trafficking, um, that went away. You know, he doesn't have a list. You know, that was all conspiracy theory. It was a conspiracy theory, just talking points. It never existed. Maxwell is in jail for sex trafficking, the trafficking of minors, um, to the Epstein Island. But there's no list, you know. Trump has denied the list. There's no list. And now people say Trump is on the list because him and Epstein was friends for a number of years, which we all know, right? But my thing is, when people say Trump is on the list, my whole thing is if Trump was on the list, that list would have came out. I believe, um, I believe he's on it. But if he was on it for uh, pedophile reasons, having sex with minors, I believe that list would have been leaked a while ago under the Biden administration. I believe they would have brought it up when his campaign started picking up steam when he ran this second time. I don't think we would have heard much of Kamala's middle class background and all of that extra bullshit because I believe her talking point would have been the Epstein client list and the fact that Trump is on it. I don't feel they would have missed the opportunity to stamp that campaign fire out before it turned into a whole blaze. Then, but whatever, now that list has completely disappeared and it never existed, and he killed himself because he just couldn't face the music for what he has done. I guess that's what it is now. So, um, we moved away from that. We moved away from the Israeli regime carpet bombing and starving Gaza, right? The murder of children, women, men, all innocent. The genocide, the ethnic cleansing of the Muslim world, I would say, right? The fact that the Israeli regime people seem to be quite racist, right? So we moved away from that. We moved away from the fact that Netanyahu, not just him, but the Israeli regime seems to have a hold on the United States government. The ADL, APAC pays for everyone they want in office, and they're pretty generous with the money, right? I mean, the money they get from us, of course, um, we send money, it's laundered back through our politicians, and if you don't have an APAC babysitter or if you're not down with the APAC program, they spend a lot of money to remove you from office and make sure you're never heard of again in these in the political world, right? Street shit, right? Get rid of you, get you up out of there, destroy your whole career, image, reputation, everything. Um, call you anti-Semitic, right? Which is crazy because we're watching Semitic people being bombed and killed by people who are not Semitic, but those people are calling people who don't support that genocide anti-Semitic. It's wild. It's wild. The wordplay is wild. So we moved away from that. Okay. So now we're back. We moved away from it because, we don't want to keep drawing attention to it. The fact that our president is weak, our politicians are weak, that they're all corrupt and paid for and controlled by Israel. So we moved away from that. And the fact that a lot of our politicians and elected officials are involved in sex trafficking and pedophile like behavior. So we moved away from that. So to get away from that, we get back to what we always get into, and that's racism, um, biased news coverage, and black bashing. All right, so we're back bashing black again. So carnival cruises, uh, police brutality. I seen the the little the melee or the fight and whatever the fuck you want to call it in Cincinnati, right? Now, one of our brothers made a great point. I had a brother say something profound. You know, something I haven't heard from any of these other. I'm going to get into the content creators that only talk about black in a negative way, because most of these content creators that talk about black in a negative way are black, because this is the content that gets them money. They do this for money. They black bash for money, um, because when it's anything white and ratchet or anything that's white and don't fit the narrative of you know um, I don't know how I'm gonna frame that. I'm gonna come back to that. But white ratchet don't get views, so they don't talk about what white people do because it don't bring the views, so they don't get the money. What bring the views is bashing blacks, in any capacity. Anything you can think of to make a black person look like a monster, to look slow and stupid, to just look like every stereotypical thing you can think of, anything you can think of that was put on a black person. Um, we're gonna we're gonna promote that through the algorithms. We're gonna post that. We're gonna make money off of that because it get views. Because then people can look at that video and like, look at what this black person is saying. I'm not racist. It's a black person saying this about black people. All right. Because for some reason, these content creators think that the fact that because if they're saying it about other black people that they're being looked at or judged differently. You're talking. In the eyes of a racist, um, you're validating what they already think, and they think that about you too. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, but whatever. So now I heard about the fight in Cincinnati. So I heard her brother say what they always say about black people, right? When a black person is brutalized by the police or killed by the police, and they always say, why didn't he just cooperate, or why didn't he just comply or listen to authority or whatever, right? And they always find a way to blame the victim, right? When he's black, when the victim is black, you're always at fault. One thing you have to know that, right? As a black person, you're never the victim. You're always the agitator, the suspect, the you're a criminal anyway, right? You're always going to be looked at that way. And if you're white, you're innocent. And if you do something and you do happen to be convicted of it as a white person, that's an anomaly because white people are, you know, innocent. You know what I mean? And if you're Jewish, you're forever the victim. No matter what it is that you do, um, no matter what it is, you will always be looked at as a victim because of the Holocaust, right? The Holocaust have made Jews the forever victims, right? And slavery doesn't matter. Once black people decided that we weren't going to be indentured servants or work for free, we've been branded as lazy, good for nothing criminals, scum of the earth, scum of society. All right, it is what it is. But the country that gave you those labels is not racist at all, right? So, brothers say about the white couple or people that got beat up, got their ass whooped in Cincinnati. Why didn't he just walk away? Why didn't he just walk away? You had another brother step in between to diffuse the altercation, right? And the white guy could have just walked away from it, but he didn't. He chose to slap another brother that he wasn't even arguing with, right? Now, you can't tell people how to react. You slap that man, you got your ass whooped, and everybody was with you got their ass whooped too. It's your fault. Why didn't you walk away? Why didn't you walk away? Now, they making it a race thing, right? All of our politicians are and mayors and shit or whatever are getting involved, throwing their little 2 cents in, right? Now it's just black and white. Now it's about race. It's not about right and wrong. It's not about the fact that this man, this white dude, slapped a nigga. No, 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 no. It's the after effect of that slap that's got everybody is in outrage. You can't make this shit up, right? It's funny because when you talk about that and the race issue, that's a race issue. But the police just beat up a nigga, broke his window out, snatched him out of his fucking car, chipped his fucking teeth, knocked his mouth motherfucking teeth out. I mean, laid the smack down on him, beat his ass. Now that's not a race issue. You know what I mean? You know, it's why didn't he just follow unlawful order? Right? You had the black, I don't know if he was a chief or whatever the fuck he was. He even came out and was like, Buddy was just trying to go viral. I'm pretty sure Buddy did not think that they was gonna break out his fucking window and whoop his fucking ass. Because if he thought they were gonna do all that shit, I'm pretty sure he would have just complied. You feel me? Nobody want to get their grill and shit all fucked up and shit. Nobody want to get beat up on the side of the road and get their teeth punched out. Nobody wants to get treated like that. Nobody wants that kind of to be brutally beaten like that because it was drizzling outside and you didn't have on your headlights supposedly, and that your license was suspended, I guess, and they smelled a little weed in the car. You know, the usual. But does that translate into an ass whooping? If you're black, I guess it translates into an ass whooping. But in this country that has never been racist or nothing is about race, you know, it's just what happens when you're a black person, right? As a black person, you know, you're supposed to comply. As a white person or a person of any other race, it seems, I mean, as long as you're not black, um, or a person of color, I guess, you can pretty much do whatever you want to, right? argue with police nose to nose. You don't have to comply with nothing. You can slap a nigga and all kind of shit. Spit on a nigga, all kind of shit. And people are supposed to just let you do that. Just let you do that in this country. You know, when nothing is about race, right? It's not about race. Even though it seems to me that a lot of things are racially motivated. Even that TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter algorithms, right? Especially Twitter spaces. You can talk about black people in the worst way. Nothing will happen. But you can't talk about other groups. That's forbidden. It's frowned upon. But who am I? Right? I don't know. It just seems to be looked at different. It's the way that it's our media, right? It's the media bias and everything. You see it everywhere. Right? So police beat up a nigga, kill a nigga, kill a black person, and it's his fault. He should have complied. He should have done this. He should have done that. Right? White person gets beat up because he didn't walk away from a situation that people were trying to de-escalate, and it's still not his fault. It's fucking crazy, right? We're starving people in Gaza. You know, they're turning away aid ships. They're shooting people when they're trying to get to the food and everything. But shh, you don't know the details. You know Hamas is there, right? We're bombing schools, churches, hospitals, you know, because you know Hamas is there. But when the same thing happens in reverse, and then you actually see that they have their military infrastructure inside of the city of Tel Aviv, and Iran bombs it. Oh my God, what are you doing? It's funny how they always seem to blame or point the finger at others for stuff that they are doing. It's like a Jedi mind trick when it comes to the Israelis, right? But you're not allowed to point that out or say anything about it. You know what I mean? But Trump is now moving away from that. We're going to move away from that. We're going to put all our focus on Russia and Ukraine. Right? A conflict that we're responsible for. But shh, let's not talk about that. Now Trump is making threats to Putin. But he's really silent when it comes to Netanyahu. So he's showing that he's either just weak and has no control, or that's what it is. That's what it is. He's trying to show strength when it comes to Russia. Why would they listen to you? They're watching you get punked. They've been watching you get punked your whole administration. They've been watching you get punked. They watch America get punked for years. People are just getting to the point where everybody knows that the Zionism, or you have a Zionist agenda, right? And you're losing your credibility and your respect when it comes to globally, right? People looking at us and laughing. we're you know what I mean? But whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, you just look at us as a country, and you know what I mean? And you wonder, like, what the fuck is going on over there? Or what the fuck is going on here? From afar, it's like, what the fuck is going on over there? From here, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Shit crazy. But yeah, so with everything that's going on in the world, the media, social, news, network, television, everything is going back to what they always get back to, which is race, which is the bashing of blacks. Because that's one thing you can always cash in on. Right? So when I see these niggas and these motherfuckers pretend to be some kind of high character, high and moral fiber, and they, oh, I'm just calling it how I see it. They don't. They don't. Because if you called it how you see it, you wouldn't say the bullshit you be saying. You know, right? But it's the views. It pays to bash blacks. It's payment in that. It's a lot of money in shitting on black people. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's money in it. And, the one thing that niggas refuse to do is take the road less traveled. So when they see that the tide is turning, well, I can't say that it ever turned. It's always been this way. You know what I mean? Hold on. Speaking of that, we're gonna have a whites only town in the Ozarks or in Arkansas or wherever the fuck. Okay, cool. Oh, black people are mad. No. My whole thing about that is that, bruh, why would we be mad? It makes no sense to be mad, right? Who wants to live around people who don't like them or want to be around them? And the thing about that is that if you check history, it's actually reversed. White people are always the ones that seem to be mad when black people do their own thing. They burn down the towns, they bomb the towns, they massacre whole communities, or they'll use their system to eminent domain it and destroy it or flood it out or build railroads and bridges and I-95 through it or some shit. Look it up. Look it up. How many lakes they got black towns under them? How many parks used to be black neighborhoods? The path of the interstate. How many black neighborhoods were destroyed so they can put that through there? Right? How many times were black towns bombed and just bombed and destroyed? You know what I mean? So when you do that talking about segregating yourself, think about that. When somebody segregates themselves from you, you get upset. You bomb their neighborhoods. You come through and go on the killing spree. You massacre people. You burn them up. You bomb them. You create laws to destroy them. But we're supposed to be the ones that's mad. But it's not about race. It's never about race. It's not about race. It's never been about race. This is America. Nothing racist about it.